no vacation the same way that you take a vacation with a regular job. Most people are regular workers. Most people need to go get a regular job. Most people need to go get a regular job because this ain't for you. And it's going to show. It's definitely going to show. It's definitely going to be a thing. It's going to show. It's going to show in how you live. It's going to show in the way that you move. It's going to show in your actions. And so if you're not willing to make the sacrifice for that type of thing, this type of life, then you need to get out. You got to get out. Got to get out. You got to get out. This ain't for you, boo. This ain't. And so you got to love it. You truly got to love it. And I think that that's applicable. I've seen it in corporate America. I used to live, work, and play corporate. I never did no work in corporate. I did all of the social. I did all of the interacting. I made sure that I attended as many meetings as possible. I did all of the volunteer work. That's how I was able to move up in corporate. And then when I would get home, I would work my ass off 4 or 5 hours after I got home. And then I would wake up an hour early in order to make sure that I set up all of my meetings and that everything was straight. So you're dedicating another 4, 5, 6 hours outside of work to level up and be ahead of everybody else. And then you'll get some DEI person that'll say, I can't believe they're not promoting me. I should be making as much as him. No, you shouldn't. You can't make as much as me because you don't know what I do outside of the lines to get there. The reason why Jordan and Kobe and LeBron and all of them is considered the top 10, top 5 of all time is because they didn't just rely on their talent. They spent the majority of their time working out. They in the gym. They shoot putting up shots. They there before everybody come. They there after everybody leave. A lot of people don't know that. Dennis Rodman, right after the game, go and watch some of the interviews. All he did was lift. After the game, he went and lifted. After the game, he lifted. So when Dennis show up, you like, oh man, this dude just showing up. He's just a freak of nature. No, he not only talented, he's a monster after the games. You don't see what happens afterwards. All you do is see, when I see people come in here, whether it be after hours or the Million in the Morning show, and I'm curating stuff and I'm making sure that stuff is perfect, and I got to make sure that my Wi-Fi is straight and all of this stuff. And the show could say 10:20 or 12:25, and I could start it at 12:30. And I'll look at the chat. I'll do a once over and I scan the chat, and the person in the chat will say, "Man, I can't believe that they're late. Black people time." And I don't say nothing because it is what it is. The only thing that people care about is the presentation. They want it. They want the movie. They don't want to know how the movie is made. They don't want to know how much the actors are paid. They don't want to know that you had cost overruns. They don't want to know that you had problems pulling permits on set. They don't want to know that you had to fire this guy and you had to do a bunch of reshoots. Only thing people want is the finished product. They want you to show up and perform. They don't care about all of that shit. When it comes to being a business owner, people want you to get their goddamn chicken. They don't give a fuck that your mama died. They don't care if you're going through a divorce. They don't care if your car broke down. They don't care if the supplier of the chicken didn't deliver the order on time. They don't care if the people that work for you ain't doing what they supposed to do. The only thing they know, and they gonna act like that they super sweet and they a vlogger. Oh my God, here I go. I'm going to do a review video of this restaurant. I don't give a fuck about what your problems are. They can take a 10-minute video and you could put your whole life savings, everything you got into it. But if you're not meeting the expectations on this and this, you can get 20 things right. You can get 2 things wrong. If those 2 things is wrong, they'll spend 20 minutes talking about the things that's wrong. And they'll spend 1 minute talking about the things that's right. And guess what? Your business will fail. And that's capitalism for your ass. That's why everybody wants socialism, because they fucking lazy, because they don't want to actually put no work in. They want worker protections, they want insurance, they want safety, they want a 401k, and they want a goddamn pension, and they want you to pay for healthcare coverage, and they want you to pay them $20, $50 an hour because they say that everybody deserves a livable wage. But not one day will they ever go out there and create their own business, or go out there and try to do something for themselves, or go out there and see what it takes to market themselves to the general public, or put their own money up. They expect for you or the government to hold their hand. They want you to give them a job, and they want you to give them food stamps, and they want you to freeze the rent, and they want you to pay them $150,000, and they want to make sure that they protect themselves against marriage from the person that they have children with. Everybody want everything, and nobody wants to suffer.
Shout out to Anton Daniels, man. Yeah, I wanted to do a video on this because I think it is important to understand the motion play of it. And I'm going to read some of this Self Unfoldment by Disciplines of Realization and just how important it is in the aspect of what we believe manifestation is and how manifestation actually comes into the fold. When I was working a job, I didn't have as much drive or as much motivation for life. I was still single, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing. I was into the death realm heavy. And I was, one of those that was really about the afterlife, really into, uh, the lucid dreaming experiences and just fuck it, what's on the other side? But what I came to realize was I kept on waking up in this bitch. So there was something off and there was something wrong because, again, I had to find some kind of purpose driven down here that moved me into a way of enjoyment, fun, passion. And what I did was I went heavy into my chakra work, but specifically my sacral chakra work. Now, that sacral chakra is very, very important to manipulate your energy in the form of having passion and fun and uh, a sort of adventure down here that moves you and gets you up every day. So I'm gonna give y'all some sacral chakra techniques I've done because my sacral chakra was so shot, like I didn't care about nothing. I just wanted to be be nothing and just not even exist essentially in that particular lane. Just really into the other side, if you will. And your sacral chakra is that chakra that's pushed into the joy, the passion, the love, the fun, the adventure, your sexual energy. One thing I did was my sexual energy, my semen retention, or transmuting my sexual energy upwards, right? In the microcosmic orbit. I used to do that, the bomb, the seed sound of the sacral chakra, because that's going to actually stimulate that energy in that area to move and have fun and feel adventurous down here, right? So you want to put the roof of your mouth, your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and close your eyes and see a light spiraling around your lower extremities, right below your belly button, and say, Bum, and just visualize that light spiraling around um, your sacral chakra. Chakra tonics. Chakra tonics was huge for me. Chakra tonics, you know what I'm saying? Oranges, things of orange colors. And then as you have your chakra tonic, go look up chakra tonics. And it's just basically taking a shot of orange juice, right? And some other different things that will stimulate your sacral chakra. And you take a shot. Before you take a shot, you say your affirmations 3 times. I am a joyous, prosperous being. I have fun down here in the earth realm. I love to explore and have adventures. I'm passionate about, my journey and my purpose driven. Boom, you take the shot. Boom. Very fire ritual, baby. And try to do that. That shit shifted my whole world. Wearing orange, hula hooping, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of it is hip work. You feel me? You got to get your hip in there and stuff like that. You feel me? Um, squats was heavy, right? And you know what I'm saying? It's one of those aspects of being on the earth and being down here running and having, this kind of energy of life, right? This passion. So that's a huge thing that I keep on seeing over and over again in my consultation. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. They don't have no drive. Uh, there's no, they don't know what their purpose is. That's kind of the same messages I keep on hearing over and over again. And what I'm telling y'all is the same thing that I tell them. Passion work or sacral chakra work is that invisible energy that you're going to need to stimulate that part of you that knows. I want to read something through this book so we can get deeper into the fold of it. And this is all about the spiritual work, self-unfoldment by disciplines of realization, Manly P. Hall, right? And the spiritual work is essentially the invisible intelligence work that's going to move you into the physical motion, essentially, because it's not necessarily like you're forcing it. You just feel inspired, inspiration to get up and get to doing things, right? Whatever your talent or whatever your gift or whatever your passion might be. You're just going to get up and get to doing it because it feels good to you and it actually moves you and motivates you into a direction of God. It says right here, begin your philosophical life by gaining an imputable realization of the life and the law upon which you will build your meditation. So that's essentially saying, like, you got to start with the spiritual, the vision, right? The visuals, the work. Like I just gave y'all some sacral chakra work, right? And consistently, repetitively, every day, just do it and just understand that something is going to shift about your energy, right? But when they say meditation, they're just basically saying the spiritual work. Attempting your own daily life, the chemistry of vision. Bring the best and highest ideals of yourself to bear upon each situation that arises. So then you're seeing your greatest self, your adventure down here, your fun, who you're destined to be, or who you see it in your mind's eye, to the utmost, to the fullest, to the God mode, right? Um, Live up to the best that you know, and observe how quickly problems will disappear. See, what I'm saying is, when you live up to your full potential, to your greatest energy realized, to your God body, essentially what's going to happen is these problems that most people are facing in life, struggles of the bills, the worries and struggles of the day, right, are going to disappear based off of you're living in God, which is joy, which is your passion of the Christ, which is Christ consciousness thinking. So a big part of this Christ consciousness thinking is you understanding that you didn't come down here to earth to die. You came down here to earth to live, then die, or transition into a new. But the living is the adventure or the experiences that you're gaining knowledge from and wisdom based off of you found your passion or your joy inside of yourself that's actually making you move in the direction of God. So you can be an artist, right? You know, there's a lot of people that just do love art, right? But you then got shocked into the world, the human, the ego, and now you go to your job 9 to 5 and you don't find the energy or drive to do your paintings. What I'm saying is if you do that sacral chakra work, you'll get home, like Anton Daniels was saying, you'll get home and paint just because you love it. There's no other reason to see. We're not doing this action reaction thing. See, when I started on YouTube, right, and I was going through my work, my process of you know finding my passion and my purpose. Essentially, what happened was it started to come and unfold out to me based off of I've always been that childlike spirit that loved to find things and research and the inspector gadget type of energy. You know what I'm saying? The mystery, the finding out things. Right? What's that book called? The detective books. You feel me? all of that kind of energy, right? That's what I was into, heavy. Crime TV, all the stuff that's true crime, solving problems. Like I could have been a hell of a detective, boy. So, you know what I'm saying? It was something that I was interested in, and I had to just be real with myself and fall into alignment with that particular energy as it started to come back online. So then that's when you get me doing these Disney videos from when I started on YouTube 8 years ago, or when I started doing the Disney videos about 6 years, 7 years ago. Um, the coding movies, the coding life. So I fell into my passion without even thinking about it. You feel me? I remember I decoded that. What was that? It was Glass. Glass had just came out. I remember Glass with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, right? And it just came out, and I seen it, and it was like an uncontrollable energy inside of me that had to put that down because I know niggas was just seeing the Chakra story, but I was in this bitch like, nigga, it's far beyond the Chakra story. God damn, y'all seeing this on the surface level. M. Night Shyamalan is giving you the Chakra story. Let me show you how far the rabbit hole goes. So then I decoded it, I put it down, and I told you it was about the three wise men, or the third eye, the pineal pituitary hypothalamus gland. And then I proved it based off of the different symbols that you were seeing in the movie that was kind of representing the third eye. And the three you feel me? So like there was no way I couldn't even. I was like, because at first I wasn't gonna do it, but then I was like, I know these niggas cannot see this shit. I was so passionate about putting it down just based off of, my energy wanted to share the experience of what I've seen and what I found in my detective, in my sleuth detective energy as decoding symbols and stuff. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of move into what you're passionate about, right? And understand that that's the real transmutation of this earth realm. It says, if you gain only a little understanding of life upon which you build a positive and helpful philosophy, you will have accomplished much. So you find your systematic spiritual work that's going to shift your energy, that's going to make you become Mr. Nobody. And in Mr. Nobody, you're not worried about the judgment and the uh, particular struggles of the day. You're in the space of just doing what you love, even if you have a job. And then don't worry about, see, that's the thing. Don't worry about money coming based off of you doing this work, right? Let's say you're a painter and you just paint, and then essentially what's going to happen is spirit's going to move you in a direction where you can give it off, where you can get paid from it. But if you're thinking about the payment first, you're fucking up, because that's not passion. That's capitalism. That's the human. You got to love this thing. You got to enjoy what you do first. Enjoy it so much that essentially and eventually what will happen is it'll spondylate into bringing back forth energy to you. And that's what Dharma is. Dharma is essentially your purpose driven. You putting down something, and then essentially you're giving it to other people, because then they can actually feel inspired or inspiration or some kind of energy from it that feeds their soul. So then what happens is reciprocity. They pay you for the energy that you transferred to them. Whether that be paintings, you making movies, you writing a book, you doing YouTube videos, you mowing somebody's lawn, you making vases, whatever your thing is, do that and just do it for free because you love to do it. That's what this whole thing is about, family. So that's one of the strongest things I keep on seeing in my consultations. Just do what you love. So that's getting back to the childlike spirit energy essence, because again, what happens is we'll shift our whole body out of God because the human has our mind distracted with work, bills, struggles, and all of that, right? So then you don't even have no energy to put down your passion driven. So now what you have to do is you have to transmute your energy, right, through the spiritual work. So then you get off of your job, but you still is amped and motivated to put this energy down, to put your work down, to do your painting, to do your artistry, your chemistry, your God work. If you gain only a little understanding of life upon which you may build a positive and helpful philosophy, you will have accomplished much. You cannot achieve perfection in a day or even in one lifetime, but if you work towards it, you'll come closer and closer to understanding. This realization is your first step. Ponder well upon it, for upon the rock foundation of individual integrity, you'll build the house of universal understanding. To attempt to live beyond what we know is dangerous. Not to live up to what we know is equally perilous. Okay, so I want the family to understand that to the core. Like when you're in your God work, your spiritual work, your passion work, essentially you're just gonna start moving. And that's real, right? So do that sacral chakra work, get that in, and watch how God moves you. Check this out, because this is an important aspect as well. When so called powerful men lose the thrust of passion, they subside and simulate passion with war. We should employ our passion in the service of life, not spend life in service of passions. So, what does that mean, Dream? So, essentially, what's going on is you want to actually just be in the work or be in your passion driven in alignment with spirit, because again, that's your meaningful life God work. Passion as a tool is not your master. So as you're getting into mastery of your specific work that you're doing, you're becoming you're awakening to a God in you. You're awakening the strange. You feel me? And that's real. And that's what we want to understand to the core, right? So remember, family, a goal without motion is just a wish. Dreams don't work unless you put some motion into it. And we're going to get back to Motion Mondays because, again, I think that's still an important part of our journey down here. It could be day by day, step by step, you putting down little by little every day something that you're passionate about to fuel your existence. I know what it is, family. Peace to the gods.